There he is. Early morning, sniffing. Come here, baby. Come on. There's my big boy. There's my big boy. I'm walking around in circles today. I don't know. I would like to know what he's always looking for, but... Well, last night it got down to 28 degrees here. I'm still at Pancho Villa State Park, New Mexico, and the sun's out now. It's probably been up, I guess about 2 hours ago it was 28 degrees. It's now, I'd say probably in the 60s now, but had a good fire last night, had a little cookout, me and my buddy Jamie, and cooked some brocks and mac and cheese, but had a little firewood. But I'm gonna go up there. If you look directly behind me, that's a museum up there. I'm gonna go up there and check out the museum because they have original Jenny in there, and they also have a rubber tired tank up there. And basically these two things started being used a whole lot in World War I, but you know, I guess the game plan, or you know, the plan of using them started here. So let's go up there and check out the museum today, and it should be pretty interesting. I know a lot of people don't like history, but I do like history, so you know, let's go check it out today. Y'all come along and join me. Look at him, always up to something. Come on, little man. Come here, baby. The building I was talking about, see those water towers way over there? The building to the, well, right below it actually, that's where the museum is, so that's where we'll go and check that out today. But I'm letting him get a little bit of exercise, and that's old jailhouse in the background right there, but let him get his morning exercise and we'll run on up there and do some videoing. I really enjoy history. I think it's pretty cool, but it's still, this place is pretty well empty. I mean, I'm looking around, all the sites in front of me is still empty, so I don't know why they said it was packed, because it really isn't. But there's my baby boy. Give it your best.
I'm Jonathan Horsley. I'm the park manager here at Pancho Villa State Park.
Okay, you're good to go.
Perfect. So why Villa raided here in the village? The Mexican Revolution was going on down in Mexico, and Pancho Villa was towards the end. He was on his downfall. He was on his way out, and he had lost 2 battles west of here in Agua Prieta. He knew there was a military encampment here. There were many encampments along the border. Columbus, New Mexico, at that time period, we were a coaling and water stop. There's the big black water tower here north of our park, which is kind of known, which is kind of one of our landmarks here. And we were a coaling and water stop. And Woodrow Wilson, president at the time, put these encampments along the border as a way to protect these establishments in case there was slop over violence. Villa knew there was an encampment here. He knew there was a cavalry force based here. Cavalry means guns and horses. That's what he wanted. He sent 2 scouts up to see what was going on in the village. They brought him information telling him, yes, there's things here. We know where the commanders live. We know everything. And they decided to raid the village.
And how many people were killed grand total?
Here in the village in the actual raid, there were 18 deaths, 8 military and 10 civilian. And some of those folks are buried here in our cemetery here in the village itself.
This is actually the only park in the United States named after somebody that actually attacked the United States,
yes, sir.
Correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're the only park named after an invader of the United States.
Pretty wild, ain't it?
It's
okay.
Crazy.
I'm going to go inside and check it out. You want to explain that to me too?
Sure.
I want to hear about the Jenny plane.
Okay, yeah.
Because I was heard this is where it got its start for World War I.
This was what we call the birthplace of military aviation. This was the first site where a plane, back then aeroplanes, were used for a military conflict. They were not armed. They were used for reconnaissance surveillance. But it was the
really?
First time
they weren't
an
armed?
Airplane was used in a military fashion.
Cool.
It was right here.
Let's go check that out. Okay, now he's going to explain the plane to you.
Of course. So this is a JN3, what we call a Jenny biplane. This one is like 1915 vintage. These are what were here during the expedition, the punitive expedition, which of course was John G. Pershing chasing Villa into Mexico. 8 were brought here during the expedition. None of them survived. Nobody died, but they just didn't work very well out here in this environment. The boys who flew them, we call them boys, the pilots of these were part of the 1st Aero Squadron. They were 15, 16 years old, the folks who came and flew these planes into Mexico. It was the first instance that an airplane was used in a military fashion. These were flown into Mexico. They were used for reconnaissance and surveillance. And the men were kind of on their own. They were trying to follow the troops south, but there's a lot of mountains in Mexico, so they had to find their own ways through the mountains. And they had a very limited ceiling as well. So the guys who flew these were very brave.
How much you reckon that plane weighs? Is it made out of wood?
It is made of wood, and it's got like a cloth composite. So fully loaded weight in one of these. Max takeoff weight was 3,100 pounds.
And it's solid wood, huh?
Well, it's a frame with a stretched canvas.
Oh, wow, that's even worse. What size motors did they have?
So these were a piston engine. We have a little flyer because it talks about it.
Okay.
These were an inline 160 horsepower, give or take.
How high you think they went up?
Their ceiling was not very high. I mean, the mountains south of us are 8,000 to 9,000 feet, and they couldn't fly over them. They had to fly around them.
Because they wouldn't have oxygen, would
They
they?
didn't have enough. Yeah, the engines just couldn't run that high up.
Okay.
We've got stories of guys landing these, scouting, retaking off on their own, and trying to find paths.
I thought one survived. One didn't survive.
No, but we understand none of them actually survived. They all went back. They were based out of Fort Sam Houston in Texas and in a base in San Diego, California, and they all went back in pieces.
Oh, well, at least they survived. Okay, let's walk over here and look at this car then.
Okay. So this we call the four-wheel drive truck. The big change. So with the punitive expedition with John G. Pershing, the major change was it was a cavalry unit based here. Cavalry is horses. The big change in punitive expedition. It was the first time U.S. military used mechanized transportation in a large scale. Typically, we were using what's behind you here, which is the wagon and mules. So the big change here was going from this to this. These were modified rail chassis. They're essentially rail car wheels with a rubber, with a basic 4-cylinder gas engine. They were all types of styles we have here. We had track models, water tanks, troop carriers, covered wagons. They were able to, it was very easy to modify and easy to change. The one we have here, we have it actually set up here on display in the way most of them were found, which was mired in the mud with typically a line of horse-drawn wagons passing it.
Is this original right here?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
So it's actually over 100 years old.
Yes, sir. And this was actually also kind of put together and restored here in the park back before this museum was built in 2006.
Well, cool. Okay, now we got the car over there to check out.
Perfect. So this is the Frost car. It's a 1916 Dodge Touring car. It was here during the time of the raid. The Frost family, while trying to escape Pancho Villa's people coming into the village, they tried to get out of town, and story goes, gentleman, his wife, and their newborn child took off towards Deming, and while they were escaping, they took fire from the Eastas. The vehicle does have bullet holes riddled all over it. The end game, if you want to say, Mr. Frost did get shot in the back 3 times.
Wow.
He survived. Story is he had to go in the back seat and had to teach his wife how to drive. Women didn't really drive back then, so he had to teach his wife how to operate this while they were escaping gunfire. All 3 of them survived. This car sat in his family's history up in Silver City, New Mexico, in a barn in their yard. When this opened, they donated it to the park. We also have a fully restored one of these in the next room over.
What size motor did this one have here?
So these are all little 4-cylinders.
4 cylinders.
They're kind of like a L-head, flat head type thing.
Are they wooden wheels on it?
Spoked wheels, yes, sir.
So I would say they're original right there, huh?
For the most part, I think these ones are pretty close. Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm gonna go check out the one that's completely restored. Okay, the car over there is the exact same thing as this here 1916 Dodge, And Jonathan right here was telling me basically that all the officers on this camp had a car like this. I mean, I guess it was their family vehicle, but and the tires are solid rubber, Jonathan told me, so pretty cool. But it's hard to believe that that car we just looked at is the same car right there. But there you go. Okay, that was my video of Pancho Villa Museum. Really interesting place, has so much history. So if you're a history buff, I highly recommend you going and check that place out. I want to thank Jonathan for all the information he gave me and for walking me around, showing me everything. The man's full of information, and on top of that, he's from South Carolina. Go South Carolina. So if you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. See you on our next video. Me and little man just go kick back today and relax, and another day tomorrow. So follow us in our travels. You can also watch us, keep up with us on Instagram. It's all small caps. It's my Scamp Travel Trailers, all small letters, all mixed together. But I usually keep that up to date because my videos usually run a couple days behind. So there you go. Enjoy the video, enjoy the museum.